Hello, coffee lovers. My name is Russell Volz from Lake City Coffee. Today we're going to talk about the 4 rules to get the best temperature for your coffee. Now, we get this question on a regular basis, and it depends on 2 things. So, how hot you actually make your coffee or brew your coffee depends on how hot you like to drink it. Primarily because as you're brewing, you're going to be losing some temperature. And when you lose some of that temperature, it might be as much as 40 degrees, it's really going to affect how hot your coffee is when you're drinking it. So let's start out with how warm do we want our coffee to actually taste in our coffee mug? And there's a number of variables for that. But first of all, anytime you talk to professional taste testers, they will always tell you, especially in coffee, we're talking 140 degrees. At 140 degrees, your palate, your taste buds can taste a lot more at 140 than it can at 160 or 170 or even 130. It's just a lot more flavor there. So that is kind of the rule of thumb, 140 degrees. Now, granted, when I taste test, we line up sometimes 24 different coffees, all from the same region, the Traza region of Costa Rica, 24 of them, all at 140 degrees. Now that's kind of tough to do, but at 140 degrees, I can distinguish the difference in taste between each one of these, and so can my wife Alisha. So when we do all that, that's fantastic. 140 degrees. If you like 140 degrees, fantastic. If you like it hotter, I personally, when I'm sitting on the couch, kicking back with my feet up, and I'm enjoying my morning coffee, I like 150 degrees. A little bit hotter, a little bit more enjoyable for me personally. Am I tasting as much? Probably not, but it's more enjoyable to me. Now, keep in mind, if you like it really hot, and I've so many people love it like 170 degrees. At about 170 degrees, you are killing taste buds permanently on your tongue. Therefore, professional taste testers, food taste testers, whatever, they won't eat or drink anything over like 150 degrees. They just won't do it because of this killing those taste buds. And personally, I've run into professional taste testers that have actually ruined a lot of their taste buds because they drank coffee too hot or something else. Now, that's drinking, okay? We're also going to get into a couple of tips, and I'm going to talk about these things here. This is all different pieces of equipment to keep your coffee hot. But let's get on to coffee brewing temperature. Now, a lot of baristas in particular will tell you, oh, you got to make your coffee at 200 degrees. That's the optimal temperature to extract all the right oils and all the right flavors out of those coffee grounds. Hockey puck, okay? Baloney. I personally, because I like 140 degrees, I'm finding I'm losing almost, 150 degrees. So I'm losing about 60 degrees. So I use boiling water. So 212. So I'm going from 212 to by the time I sit down with my cup of coffee, it's at 150. Now my math is right, that's 62 degrees. Then I'm losing in the brewing process. We'll talk about that too, because what kind of brewing process you use a French press, an AeroPress, use a drip machine, use an espresso machine, all these different things, they lose a certain amount of temperature one way or another. So my recommendation is use whatever temperature you need to end up at your optimal drinking degrees. So for me, I use an AeroPress. Don't have one here, but it's very much like a French press, right? So I use a French press. It's going to sit there for 3 minutes and steep, etc. In this case, a French press is, at room temperature. My coffee mug's at room temperature. blah, blah, blah. So when you do all that, you're going to lose a lot of temperature. Now, so again, we were talking about how do you brew your coffee. There's basically two different categories. There's automated systems like a drip machine or maybe an automated espresso machine. Granted, a lot of you coffee nerds, you have espresso machines, but they're manual, right? Get that. So that's basically automated is easy, but it doesn't give you very good coffee, my personal belief. Manual methods, an AeroPress, a French press that you're manually making 1 cup at a time, an espresso machine where you have control over all those variables, including water temperature. And when you can control the water temperature, it's between the water temperature and the grounds, how fine those grounds are and how much of the grounds, your ratio of water to grounds. If you can control all that, you can make an incredible cup of coffee. You go automated, you're going to get what the machine can give you. Okay? Let's talk about that. Oh, by the way, when we're talking about brewing, you gotta experiment. No matter what brewing method you pick, you're going to have to experiment in the grounds. You know, how fine are those grounds? I like a medium fine, somewhere between medium and super fine, right? About in the middle there. That's what I like. But you need to experiment and find out what you like. And how fine a grind or how coarse a grind that is may even change with you over time, but it'll depend on the brewing method that you're using. So that's important to keep in mind. Lastly, I want you to think about what coffee mug are you going to use? Because I used to take 3 hours to drink 16 ounces of coffee. 3 hours. So I needed something that was like, wow, it was absolutely amazing in keeping the heat into the coffee. This was my go-to mug. Love this mug. Thermos, right? Okay? Piece of shit made in China is what it is, by slave labor. So I refused to use this anymore when I found out it was made in China. When I say piece of shit, I mean if you drop this, the lid will break. I've been through 3 lids. This is my 4th lid on this particular mug because of dropping it, right? Empty, not necessarily full, and it still breaks. So I refuse to use that. What I did find is burnout mug. It's also vacuum insulated, just like this piece of shit Yeti. Yeti, I found this is great at keeping things cold, but keeping them hot, I can keep it'll lose 10 degrees in probably 15 minutes. So I don't like it at all. Nonetheless, burnout mug works great. Will keep my coffee 140, 150 degrees easily for an hour. Okay? It'll probably drop it down to 130 in about 3 hours. So maybe a little bit cooler than I like, but made in the USA. That's why I use this. I got a bunch of these. They've got a 16 ounce, 12 ounce. I think this is a 12 ounce as well. Great coffee mug. You know, if you take porcelain or ceramic or china, anything like that, even though it's made in the USA, which is great, which these are, they lose heat real fast. So if you drink a mug of coffee, let's say in 15 minutes, it doesn't matter what you use. You might as well use these kind of things that are made in the USA. Go to Etsy. They're all over the place. All right. We were going to talk about boiling water. Now, you've got things like this. This is your old whistle type, but this is made out of glass. This one's made in Germany. You're not going to find glass made in the United States, generally speaking. If you do, let me know, because I haven't found it. So you can throw this up on the stove, and it'll take you to boil this probably 10 to 12 minutes, right? This is a gooseneck kettle, which is great for a slow pour over. Slow pour over coffee is one of my favorites. The gooseneck part gives you perfect aiming, but this, made out of copper, tin on the inside, copper on the outside. This will take about 10 minutes to boil 16 ounces of water. So one of the fastest, this little bugger here, man, this thing is fast. It's electronic, right? Plug it in, fill it with water, throw it on here, 2.5 minutes, and that thing is boiling like crazy. Here's the problem. Made in China by slave labor. I won't use it. So it's sitting out in a bin outside. If you're using a coffee machine, one of the drip machine, one of the things I like the most about the drip machines is that you can put them on a timer. So if you want to get up in the morning to the sound and smell of fresh coffee, man, nothing beats that. Problem is, it's drip coffee, which sucks, in my opinion. I think it's one of the worst ways of making coffee, but that's my personal opinion. You like it, you drink it. Point is, if you're going to do that, use a vacuum insulated coffee pot, I guess you would call that. Coffee pot, vacuum insulated. Don't use the glass ones. Okay, they make glass ones that fit under the coffee machines. Okay, a couple of, let's see, we talk about mugs. Let's talk about coffee tips. So here's some great tips. If you want your coffee hotter, so 140 degrees isn't enough, or 150 isn't enough, you want 160, preheat your mug. That's what I do. I pour in just hot water from the sink, and or I'll put boiling water in here. And while my coffee's steeping or I'm doing other things, it's getting hot. When I use a French press, I'll preheat that. I'll throw hot water in it and just let it sit aside. So when I'm ready to actually make coffee, I pour the water out, put the grounds in, put new boiling water in it, and let it steep for me, 3 minutes. So preheating helps a lot. Let's see, again, we talked about experts say never use boiling water. I always do, okay, only because there's time lapse while it's steeping, all these other variables that'll cool it down pretty well. So whether, and if you happen to make which I've done. Okay, so I've done some taste testing, 212 boiling versus 200 degrees. Try to get it still at 140 or so I could taste test it. I couldn't tell the difference. So that, gotta make your coffee at 200 degrees is baloney. Okay, tastes the same to me. How to heat your water. We talked about that. I personally, I didn't bring it out here. Cool. Or too bad. Anyway, I use a Pyrex 2-cup measuring cup. Fill it with my filtered water. Throw it in the microwave for 4 minutes. Now that's 12 ounces. So 12 ounces in 4 minutes. Is it as fast as this? No. It's faster than, anything on the stove, I'll tell you that much. But nonetheless, that's that. Let's see, what else was, the Pyrex. That's my go-to. Pyrex in the microwave. How about reheating your coffee? Almost everybody will tell you, you can't reheat your coffee. It'll taste horrible. Yeah, it tastes a little bit different, but not enough to make any difference to me. So, when my coffee, let's say I do take an hour to drink a cup and I get to it and it's kind of like lukewarm, I'll throw it in a Pyrex measuring cup, throw it in a microwave for 30 seconds, a minute, put it back in, I go back and drink it. It's great. And I'm a picky coffee drinker. I wouldn't be in this business if I wasn't. Okay, coffee pot or a carafe, again, vacuum sealed, we talk about. So a lot of the automated coffee drip machines, right, have a heater on the bottom. So they'll have a warming tray. Never use those. Usually have something like this sitting on a warming tray. That really screws up the taste of the coffee, in my personal opinion. That's pretty much about it. Lake City Coffee, our customers are unique. Our customers are usually coffee nerds or people that are wanting to take their coffee brewing skills from where they're at up a major level. And that's what we help them do. That's why we have 300 articles on basically how to make coffee. And that's on our website site here. What else makes them unique? We all like coffee that's smooth as silk with prominent and subtle flavors that are well balanced, like a world-class Bordeaux, okay? Wine, right? Geez. Really comes down, if you're looking for special coffee, as special as you want to be drinking, you're in the right place. And we're here just providing you with the best beans, the best roast, most freshest coffee that roast coffee you're going to get. Providing that to you, that's only half the equation. The other half is in your brewing technique, and we're here to help you do that. So if you have any questions, get in touch with us, and we will get back to you. Have a great day.